Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today is Monday, which means it's time for an episode of Loadout, the series where you guys, the viewers, get to pick a gun and customization for me to use. The way you do this is you leave a comment down below letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with, and I will pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode of Loadout. Today's top comment comes from Soy Jun Kim. He says, Metro Last Light Loadout. AK-74, any attachment you would like without the foregrip. M26 mass with buckshot like a shotgun in Metro LL. 44 Magnum, scoped if you want, no thank you. Play on Metro in any kind of game, have fun. Well, I tried to play on Metro exclusively for this loadout, but aside from finding good games to play Metro on, I couldn't hack it. It was too much Metro. It gets a little too annoying after a while. And everybody's just got AEKs or M16s and plays nothing but Metro all day long. And it's just not really that much fun to run around with an AK-74 trying to make it work. I'm not saying I wasn't doing alright, but it was just annoying. So I had to break it up a little, play some other maps. And here I am on Kaiser Railroad, which I think is a good team deathmatch map. It does have a lot of angles, so you gotta kind of creep around cautiously, I would say, and as soon as you're not cautious in this map, then you pretty much die. The center of the map can be crazy because you get so many angles that you're exposed to. Now the AK-74 I like it because it reminds me of the AK-47, which unfortunately is not in Battlefield 3. It should be, but it's not. This is the closest thing we got, and it looks cool. It's this old beat up gun with paint chipped off of it. And I got a feeling that the artists at DICE really want us to think that this is one of the early 1974 production models. Like, this thing's been through multiple wars, it's been banged up, used by tons of different soldiers, and now we're playing with it. Now, you really don't see a lot of people running around with the AK-74 in Battlefield, and there's good reason for this. It's because the weapon shoots so slowly. Now, in long-range games, it's not a big deal because it allows you to be a little bit more accurate. But you know what, a lot of those really fast-firing assault rifles can still drop people pretty well at longer ranges, not to mention most of Battlefield engagements that are around real range, and you're going to lose a lot of those gunfights. The rate of fire for this gun is 650 rounds per minute, and that is basically almost the slowest firing full auto assault rifle. The Scar L shoots at 620 rounds per minute, making it the slowest firing full auto assault rifle, not including the G3A3, but the G3A3 does a lot more damage per shot, so we can't really compare it in the same way. And look at all these weird angles in this map. I just shot that guy through the underside of a truck while just running through randomly. These guys have no idea that they're even exposed to me up here. There really are just like hundreds of weird, awkward angles in this map, depending on what position you're in. If you move 10 feet forward, all of a sudden you're exposed to like 50 new angles that you had no idea even existed. This is not an easy team deathmatch map to play. Most people just try and stick around on the outside. It can be fun to try and push into the middle, but you really gotta be on your toes, making sure that you're checking all the angles of exposure, especially with this gun, because the AK-74 with that slow rate of fire is not a good quick reaction gun. It's a good gun for anticipating your opponents, aiming for the head, getting long range shots. If somebody surprises you in close quarters, you better just hope that they're not a very good player, otherwise you're going to lose that gunfight. Now, as much as I would like to talk about how good some of the AK weapons are in Battlefield, sadly they're not really so great, especially if you've got any semblance of recoil control down in your gameplay. If you don't have good recoil control, then sticking to the slower firing guns might seem like an easier option, but as soon as you learn to compensate for that recoil even slightly, other guns are going to become much more attractive than the AK-74 very quickly. Now, if I were a weapons designer for video games and I had a gun that had a slow 650 round per minute rate of fire, I would try and compensate for that slow rate of fire by increasing its accuracy or giving it really fast reload, or trying to do something. But again, you also have to try and keep all the stats within characteristic of the weapon. Sadly, the AK-74 doesn't really start to spring to life in any other category. Sure, it can be accurate at long range and it doesn't require a lot of recoil control, but a lot of other guns that fire faster than this one can be just as accurate in long range. Now, this gun has a 2.1 second short reload, which which isn't so bad, but there's guns like, say, the M416 or the M16 that reload way faster. The M416 shoots at 750 rounds per minute, 100 rounds per minute faster than this weapon, and it has a 1.75 second reload. It also has pretty much universally lower recoil than the AK-74 per shot. Its first recoil multiplier is a tiny bit higher, but at the same time, it's not really that big a deal. It's a very small extra kick when you fire your first bullet. Now, the simple truth of the matter is that once you start to understand recoil compensation, and I really think controlling recoil is something that you have to do if you want to be a proficient player at this game. You can probably still have fun without doing very good recoil compensation, but once you get that recoil compensation down, it's going to allow you to pretty much master most of the guns in the game. Whether you have a gun that fires at 700 rounds per minute, 800 rounds per minute, or even 900 rounds per minute, these concepts are pretty much the same. So if you can recoil compensate for one gun, you should be able to modify those skills and recoil compensate for another one. The faster firing ones are going to be a little bit trickier, but once you have the basic skills down, you can control the recoil pretty much just as well. If I'm firing an M416 right next to an AK-74, I can control the recoil on the M416 just as well. So it's basically a more accurate, faster firing platform for me, and it allows me to get double kills in situations where the AK-74 would only get a single kill. Now, of course, I've neglected to mention the fact that I am running the mass shotgun on this weapon, and I gotta say I do come across some decent opportunities to use it. In the beginning of the video, I got a nice triple kill with it. And although the mass shotgun is very good, the fact that you have to sacrifice the med pack for it is really hard to do. And it makes this build very awkward because you're trying to use it at long range, and then when you get in close quarters, you've got this mass shotgun. But at long range, where you're going to be using this weapon, like I would say 80 to 85% of the time, you're going to really want a med pack. As you can see, I'm taking stray shots, getting kills and stuff, but you need to heal in between your firefights with the assault class, especially in games like Metro. Otherwise, you're just not going to last. If you get in a firefight or two and you're down to 30% health, that's going to make your survivability far less, and it's going to be a lot harder to get that next kill in a firefight. There were many moments while using this AK-74 when I was taking straight fire but winning my firefights, and I'd get down to say 25% health. I'd engage an enemy, I'd hit him 3 times, take him down to 75% to 25% life, and he'd shoot me once because that's all he needed and take me out. And that right there is pretty much the reason why I always run with medpack, and that there's not really much reason to run with other attachments on assault rifles, except for maybe smoke grenade launcher, because that's very useful for pushing up and taking new objectives as long as you're running with other people that have medpacks. But unfortunately, I think DICE just made the medpack too good for people to have interesting or fun classes like the AK-74 with a shotgun on the back. It's got the long range potential, it's got the close range potential, it just doesn't have the healing potential. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to leave your comments down below letting me know what kind of gun and accessories you'd like me to run with for the next episode of Loadout. And I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.